For centuries, humanity's deadliest enemy wasn't a single person, but a virus. Smallpox was a scourge that knew no social class or geographic boundaries, killing more than 300 million people in the 20th century alone. Then, in 1796, an English physician named Edward Jenner made a life-saving discovery about how to stop it. And you won't believe what he did. In the late 18th century, few diseases were as feared as smallpox. Its telltale symptoms of high fever, weakness, and a distinctive rash were known throughout the world. And once the illness took hold, there was little that could be done to stop it. Death often followed within a week. People had long wondered if there was a way to protect themselves from infection, and some believed they had found a way. In China, India, and other parts of Asia, people had long been inoculating themselves against smallpox by exposing themselves to material from smallpox blisters. While this practice provided some protection, it was extremely dangerous. And because it was done improperly, many people died from the disease. Jenner wasn't the first to have the idea of inoculation, but his thinking was different. He wanted to find a safer way to introduce the disease into a person's body so that they would become immune to it without actually getting sick. To do that, he turned to a common disease among dairymaids called cowpox. In 1796, one of Jenner's patients, a woman named Sarah Nelmes, came to him with sores on her hands and feet. She told Jenner that she'd recently been milking a cow that had the disease. At the time, Jenner didn't know that cowpox was a distinct disease caused by a virus. But when Sarah recovered from her illness, he noticed that she seemed to be immune to smallpox. That meant Jenner had a unique opportunity to study the effects of cowpox on someone who had never had smallpox before. So, on May 14, 1796, he took a small amount of material from Sarah's cowpox lesions and scratched it into the skin of an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps. Then he waited to see what would happen. A few days later, the boy started to feel sick. He had a fever and felt weak and tired, but after a week, those symptoms disappeared and the fever broke. Jenner had exposed James to cowpox and prevented him from getting smallpox. The boy was immune. Word of Jenner's discovery spread quickly. Soon, he was vaccinating dozens of people a day. At first, many people were skeptical of the new procedure. They thought it was strange that Jenner would expose people to a mild disease like cowpox when there was no guarantee that it would protect them from smallpox. But as more and more people were vaccinated and no one died from smallpox, the idea caught on. Jenner's discovery saved hundreds of millions of lives over the years. Eventually, the World Health Organization eradicated smallpox in 1979. If you've heard stories about how the COVID-19 vaccine was developed in record time, just know that none of that would have been possible without Jenner's discovery. His work laid the foundation for everything we know about immunology and vaccines today. And all it took was one man's curiosity about a dairymaid and her cows. What do you think? Would you get the smallpox vaccine? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, be sure to check out my others for more medical mysteries. I'll see you next time.